Have you ever wondered how to love yourself? What self-love actually entails? Oftentimes we have an idea of what that means, and it seems abstract and difficult to understand. So I'm going to take you on a journey into describing exactly the process for cultivating and strengthening self-love, what it actually means. And let's begin with a macrocosm perspective, and then I'm going to bring it into a very myopic perspective. So let me start by saying it is not it is not the narrative of who you are. It has nothing to do with anything that you can describe as an accomplishment. So if I were to ask you to sit down and list out what it is about yourself that's lovable, that wouldn't be an effective approach. It has nothing to do with accomplishments. It has nothing to do with characteristics. It has nothing to do with anything that could be externally validated or dismissed and judged in any capacity. Rather, it has to do with the essence of who you are. So if we consider that your existence, your presence is an extension of source creation, that the universe is whole, it's complete, that is guaranteed. The field of infinite potential is already existing, and that which is being expressed through consciousness is present and whole and complete. And the wholeness of God, of source of creation, cosmic consciousness, whatever you may describe it as, is whole and complete. There's nothing missing from it. So imagine that as, a large, infinite puzzle, and you are one piece of that puzzle. You are an expression of that. Your very nature and the truth of who you are, your essence, is both a part of it and an individualized expression of it. So I always invite people to experience something with me, and that is, we think about someone that we love unconditionally, and we want them to know that they are loved. And let's say that they started telling you that they are unlovable because of mistakes that they've made in the past, or that they're lovable because they've accomplished certain things. And then let's say that they're insistent about themselves not being worthy and lovable. Think about the energy, the feeling that you have, and how you would want to communicate to them, and how it would make you feel when they fully 100% accept themselves. It would feel like peace in your heart. You would feel warmth. You would feel joy. You would love the fact that they feel so self-loving. And I'm inviting you to consider that that's how the creator of you, all of creation, feels when you find the experience of loving yourself. And so there's that piece first. Furthermore, if you were to bring this in a little bit further, I'm going to invite you to consider a few things. So imagine also that this young child has had experiences that were difficult and challenging, especially if this child is in this stage of, or any stage is relevant, but in the stage of their attachment phase, developmental stage, so very young, and attunement, where attunement and attachment are necessary for their survival. And then into the developmental stage of the development of self, the self-concept, self-efficacy and confidence and esteem and all of those things. And furthermore, the reflection of how one is to, relative to others, how one is to engage in collaboration or lack thereof in communication and relationship with all others. So anytime within those developmental stages, if there has been the absence of attunement, or the absence of proper attachment, or the absence of being mirrored back your sense of self, we may need to go in and build on those structures. And there is a process for doing that. If there have been traumas within any of those stages, we want to honor and respect and love and value and appreciate that child's experience at that time. So we would turn toward them. We wouldn't turn away from them. We wouldn't try to reject their experience if it was true for them. We would love it. We would turn toward it and honor it. So part of the self-love journey is you doing that for yourself. So that is what we might call gross body purification, or the emotional body purification through full self-acceptance and self-love. So it's a journey of identifying the fragmented parts that had occurred during each of these experiences that then split off into, let's say, protectors or coping mechanisms to protect the more vulnerable parts that were hurt and not seen and validated and given what they needed in order to feel safe within those dynamics. So to turn to each of these parts and love and respect them, appreciate them, value them, forgive them if need be. So this is where shame, guilt, resentments, any of these sorts of emotions that prevent us from having an open heart exist. And we don't open our hearts by rejecting these parts. We open our hearts by attuning to them. And so there's a process for that. And so there's the bigger perspective that I'm inviting you to see, which is that you are part of the whole and therefore intentional, necessary, have a purpose in this existence in your unique expression, and that your value and worth and love for self and has nothing to do with anything that can be measured relative to standards of judgment, where humans have the ability to judge, place judgment upon, because think about how precarious that is anyway. If, let's say, you think that you're worthy and lovable because you attended a certain university or because you've accomplished certain things, if anyone can, and then you have two people observing that have different values, and one says, yes, therefore you are worthy, and another says, no, that doesn't mean anything, then all of a sudden that construct, that idea dissolves. So it's not relevant, it's not true, it's not real. I'm asking you to recognize self-love is what's based on reality, on truth, on the highest truth. And from there, it's also you turning toward yourself in each of these experiences in your life where you felt the need to reject yourself, and therefore these parts then split into different parts, and begin to reblend them, reintegrate these parts, and begin really ultimately healing. From there, you can start rebuilding your sense of self based on your truth, based on your intuition and your core self. And then there's this other piece to it that is, as I was saying, you're a unique expression of the one. And sometimes we have created ideas around what that expression should be and not really tapped into what our heart and soul and intuition knows to be true about ourselves. And so it's an attunement back to our intuition and sense of self, and reclaiming our sense of self and moving toward developing and creating that in the 3D reality that we live in. And so, by the way, I'm Lisa, and I'm a holistic psychotherapist, and I specialize in single session transformations and group coaching programs, a sequence of group coaching in 3 different phases for healing energy centers and 3 different aspects of our being. So for rapid transformation. And I invite you to my school community where you can learn more and have access to more resources that will help you on this rapid transformation and growth if you're interested toward freedom and self-love. All right. Thank you. I hope this was helpful.